Football is back, and it's back in a major way. We jump started it off with Archie Manning at Ohio State. That's been going through the airways, but I think that kid's gonna be all right, man. He was going up against a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator for his first game and under the big lights. Wasn't no UL or Monroe or nothing like that. So I think the kid's gonna bounce back and be all right. So we got Belichick tonight, and Belichick after so many years with the Patriots and so many rings, got a couple as a defensive coordinator, has moved on, and now he's at North Carolina. So he's coaching at the collegiate level now. So I'm very interested to see how that's gonna pan out. And as y'all know, the people that follow me, man, I'm a big sports head, so I be all over the sports news. So I cover all topics, but I love my sports. But what I wanted to ask y'all, it's always big in sports talking about the GOAT debates, whether it be, Michael Jordan, LeBron, with basketball, baseball, Hank Aaron, Babe Ruth, coaching when it comes down to NFL coaches and collegiate coaches. So as much as I love seeing Alabama get their teeth kicked, they terrified LSU for years. So as much as I love to see that, I saw how everybody's been talking about the new coach that's there now. I forget his name, but he lost his first game coming in. And shout out LSU because we hadn't won our first game in a minute, I think, since 2019. But everybody was saying, if Saban was there, Saban was there. So if we're going to criticize LeBron or penalize LeBron for saying he had stacked teams or he won his rings through, putting teams together and getting the best of the best, how do we look at Saban's legacy? Do we need to revisit that? Because here's my thing. Alabama at its peak, their fourth string player could probably go walk on another major college and be a starter. So I'm not questioning whether Saban is a good coach because I know he's a hell of a coach. For one, just managing those type of talents to know like you should be playing, but you have to wait a 2-3 year sit out basically because of the people playing in front of you. They all going to the league. And so, and I know like even back home, we got our legendary coach, Hall of Famer, Coach Smith, that that was one of the things we talked about on our interviews, how just managing, egos. So that's one major thing because he had teams that were stacked 1 through 5, 1 through 10. The 6 through 10 could go play at another school and be starters, but they sacrificed to come to our school and either sit on the bench and be a second string or wait their turn a couple years to play. Because you had that type of rapport, you had that type of cachet, so to speak. So you got that with Saban. Like I say, 4th-string players could go anywhere else and be a starter. But the moment the playing field got even, you take your ball and go home. So can we really call Saban the greatest college coach at all time? Because the run Alabama went on was crazy. But you have to think, when you have out of your 22 starting players, 11 on defense, 11 on offense, let's say 17, 18 going to the league or be playing on Sunday versus your opponent, they might have 3, might have 4. So talent-wise, I don't really know how much Alabama was ever pushed, outside of a few times in the Saban era, because LSU, SEC had dogs. So don't get me wrong in saying, I'm just saying all the talent he faced was watered down because the SEC, that's a gauntlet within itself. But even within the SEC, the best of the best talent was going to Alabama. So it became, at some point, like, shit, just don't fuck it up. But like I said, you do have to manage those egos and the amount of talent you get to get them to buy in and want to sit like that. But my whole thing is, if we're going to penalize LeBron, we're going to say stack teams, chase rings. Now, Saban didn't go anywhere, so we ain't saying that. But I'm just saying, if we're going to look at it from that view, from that perspective of stacking teams, who had more stacked teams than Alabama in college football? And should they have been expected to do what they do? And could the average coach, worth a grain of salt, could he have done it? Again, no disrespect to Nick Saban, hell of a coach, and I'm sure all his players swear by him. I'm sure his mythology and how he coaches has probably changed some of his players' trajectory of going to the league and all that. So definitely not questioning his football acumen. I know he has a high football IQ. But where does he stand with collegiate coaches now seeing after the first time when the playing field was even, he took his ball and left them? Just want to see if it's fair across the board. LeBron, stacked teams, criticized Saban, heavily stacked teams, glossed over. What y'all think? Let me know. Just something I've been sitting back peeping.